The following upload is intended for reaction purposes only. All rights are reserved for the initial copyright owner. The full reaction to this video is available on my Patreon in the description below. Another day, another video. Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Today we are watching House of the Dragon. This is episode 2, season 1. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that first episode. I've seen a lot of people comparing it to Game of Thrones, which they have every right to do. That's what we done as we started it. And you know, Game of Thrones was absolutely amazing, and obviously all the hype has been brought into this. I seen that it was like the record for a premiere, like 10-15 million people watched it. Madness, you know, so it is coming in with big expectations. It's already been renewed for season 2, which is no surprise. It did hit off with a bang. I really enjoyed it. Hopefully we get more invested and progress with more of the storylines. We're heavily focused on the Targaryens in the first episode. I'd be interested to see if any more families get introduced into this one. We did hear the Starks and the Baratheons mentioned. Obviously, like I said, we focused heavily on the Targaryens. We went into King's Landing and we seen Daemon, the king's brother, go in and absolutely ruthlessly kill loads of people that was there. He was chopping hands off, he was chopping heads off. You know, he wants to be second on the throne. You know, he wants to be the next in line pretty much. Now obviously the king, he had a son. Now what's mad is his wife was she's having problems in birth, and he had to make the call. He had to either go for his child's life or go for his wife's life. He chose to try and save his child because he was believing that he was going to have a son, and he actually did. So he was going to be next in line for the throne. His wife sadly passed away, and then the son passed away. Crazy. So his daughter's the only one left standing. Now she used the dragons to boom me, you know, burn her mum and her son in the burial. And we also seen the king banish Daemon away because he'd done a toast in the bar to the heir that lived for a day, and obviously he's not happy with that, and he's kicked him away. Now he's put his daughter next in line to the throne, so that is going to be really interesting because this is set 172 years before Daenerys, and obviously she ended up, well, trying to rule the throne, and in this timeline we still haven't had a female, but now we have got one second, well, next in line. So I'm excited to see what we have on offer. Hopefully it's craziness. Lots of fighting, lots of killing, lots of chaos, and lots of turmoil. Thanks for checking out today's video. If you do enjoy it, please smash the like, really helps out. Subscribe if you're new, and as always, let's jump into today's episode. Oh, still alive, mate.
The stepstones have now grown into a conflagration, yet you sit here and dither about court business.
Much revenge.
I want to seize the stepstones by force and burn out this crab feeder. The king's own brother has been allowed to seize Dragonstone and fortify it with an army of his gold cloaks.
A seat at the king's table does not make you his equal.
You have dragon riders, father. It would be a show of force.
At least the princess has a plan.
Why don't you take the princess to see about the new King's Guard posting, Lord Commander?
Do you know what's interesting there? They said that Daemon has been away for over 6 months and he's been allowed to take some part of the island or kingdom or something. But also, you know, they're kind of treating her like she's a little girl, and I can't wait for the moment where she just, you know, retaliates and strikes and shows her dominance and her force and her power. Those are the best moments when people don't expect it and they come in and absolutely get dominated.
Sir Aemon was knighted at 8 and 10.
Do any of these knights have combat experience?
I fought for a year as a foot soldier against the Dornish incursion.
Choose Sir Criston Cole.
Let's not be too hasty, princess.
My father should be defended by a man who's known real combat.
He should, mate. A true warrior.
Of course, princess.
Tell me, how is Rhaenyra?
What do you mean?
Well, these days she doesn't say more than a few words to me. There are times when I would rather face the Black Dread himself than mine own daughter of 15. You do not mention our talks to Rhaenyra, do you? I fear that she wouldn't understand them.
Do you know what I'm trying to figure out is how old she? That's what I'm trying to figure out. She's friends with Rhaenyra. Like, I thought they was the same age. They was both sat outside the tree, wasn't they, in the last episode? And he was having discussions, and she's been sent in from her dad to try and seduce him, I'm assuming. But he just said Rhaenyra's 15, so God knows how old she is.
I find this is a way to be with my mother. Here in the quiet of the steppes.
What do I say?
Whatever you wish. It's only for you and the gods to know.
I want him to see me as more than his little girl.
Mine own father does not know the language of girls either. know that I must make the effort.
The king's brother, so disinherited, has claimed the Targaryen seat on Dragonstone without challenge. And now a foreign power has established a colony in our most critical shipping lane. To elude a storm, you can either sail into it or around it. Wed our daughter Lena. With the Targaryen dragons and the Valyrian fleet, you can show the realm the crown's strongest days are ahead.
They want him to wed their daughter, but I thought they was cousins. But they said that obviously he's House Targaryen and they're what? Valyrian, did he say? Obviously the Targaryens have got the dragons, they're saying they've got the fleets. Now obviously, I'm assuming that obviously even though they're cousins, that she's married into his family, so obviously like that's their name. But it'd be a bit weird though. Was it not be like second cousins, maybe? Like, but then we've also see Jaime and Cersei, which is full on brother and sister in it, so we know that the show's not bothered about going down those avenues. But that would be interesting to see. Now again, he's right what he was saying, you know. If the storm's coming, you got two options. You go into it or you go around it, but you don't sit there and wait for it to come after you. That's when the chaos and the trouble starts.
Small council.
Paid no mind.
I thought I might have had some insight.
You're young.
That's it, mate. They always say she's young. Are they putting maggots on that wound? Oh, looks like his thing's getting worse.
And hopefully stop the advance of the rot. Dearly loved my own lady wife, and to be compelled to replace her for duty's sake. You are the king.
Trying to make him feel differently, innit? He wants his daughter to be married to him. That's what he wants. Whoa, this girl. Yo, she's young, man.
It would be a great honour to join our houses, give you many children, so that we might strengthen the royal line and the realm.
What did your mother tell you?
That I wouldn't have to bed you until I turned 14.
Nah, man. Nah, we can't be doing that.
It bothers you, does it not?
Lena is your daughter, Princess. Does it bother you?
Of course it does. Whether it's to my daughter or to someone else's, your father will remarry. His new wife will produce new heirs. And chances are better than not that one of those will be male.
When I'm queen, I will create a new order.
But the men of the realm already had their opportunity to appoint a ruling queen at the Great Council.
Queen who never was. But they bent the knee to me and called me heir to the throne.
She's well salty in the back. I'm sorry, she is so salty. She was saying they had the chance to get a woman on the throne and they didn't. Yeah, they refused you, mate. But they didn't refuse me. They've all bent the knee. I'm next in line. And I'm gonna take charge and dominate when that time comes. Now, she's obviously saying that in the old ways, as soon as the male comes, then she's going to get pushed down. And that is true. But like I said, mate, she needs to show that she is the right person, the right fit, and the person that will take them forward. So it's going to be interesting to see when that happens.
Lord Corlys Balarian has offered the hand of his daughter.
I'm sure that she is good and kind, and that she will enjoy your company.
She's trying to drop it in, mate.
I brought you something.
I would rather her be the next queen than that little girl, man.
Very kind. I think it best you hear it directly.
Daemon's robbed him, he took an egg.
Daemon Targaryen, the Prince of Dragons, to announce that he is to take a second wife. Her grace is with child, and is to have a dragon's egg placed in the babe's cradle.
Don't know what she's saying, but she's sick.
Daemon Leitas.
Daemon is without limit. Let me go to Dragonstone.
Oh, mate, I'm excited. Mate, if that auto goes, yeah, I don't care if he gets killed. Not that I dislike it. Well, to be honest, I'm not a fan of him, but, like, if someone's got to die, I want someone to die. So if it's him, fine by me. Daemon's definitely not the way I had my t-shirt up spell. He's took over some places. He's got an army going. You know, he was keeper of the war, wasn't he? He's got people following him. He's come, he stole a dragon's head. He stole the one that they put in Balon's cradle, or whatever they just said. I'm thinking that Regina, she's going, mate. She's getting on them dragons and she's going after him. She's going to cause some sort of chaos. There's going to be a fight. It's going to be good. Now, I agree the prince, the king shouldn't go. You know, it's bait. They're trying to pull him out and obviously easy attack. But Daemon, I knew that he's going to be a wild one. I knew he's going to be an interesting character.
Disband your army, banish your whore, and leave Dragonstone by order of His Grace King Viserys.
Where is the king?
His Grace would never lower himself to entertain such a mummer's farce.
This one's Daemon's.
See the fucking steel.
Something's going on in that distance, man. It's the second time we've looked over there. Oh, look at the clouds.
If you wish to be restored as heir, you'll need to kill me. So do it.
and be done with all this bother.
He's not going to. I think he actually really likes her. I knew he'd give her the egg. I actually knew he would. Like, as soon as she got off it, I said he's giving it her. I wonder what he's thinking, eh? Wounded that a little girl, according to him, to come and save the day and not him.
You announced that we were to be wed? I ensured long ago that I would never be threatened by childbirth. You can afford to play your stupid games with the king, but I cannot. I came to you to be liberated.
From what?
Fear.
Ever since my name was read by the Archmaester, I have felt Corlys Velarion's envious gaze.
She comes from unimpeachable Valyrian stock, and she has Targaryen blood.
Who is he to act to me?
No one, Your Grace. But Driftmark makes for a better ally than it does an enemy.
The princess has returned from Dragonstone.
You didn't even know she went.
You are my only heir. You could have been killed. I sometimes forget how alike you both were. But you are my only heir, and our line is vulnerable. By marrying again, I may begin to ensure that we are better defended.
Against whom?
Whomever may dare to challenge us.
You are the king, and so your first duty is to the realm.
It's a tough one, that, innit? You know, that guy's just said that if he was him, he would marry that girl. And his reasoning was, well, he's a wealthy man, and they have the majority of the ships within, you know, that, you know, their fleet. It's kind of like blackmail, but not blackmail, if you know what I mean. Like, he's not forcing him to, but he's like took a position where he's offered himself forward, and there's lots of repercussion if things could possibly go bad. Like he was saying, who's he to dictate what the king does? Well, you know what, it's not really dictating it, but if you say no and then he decides, yeah, you're not going to have our fleet, you're not going to have this, then, mate, you know, your army's going to be dwindling, you're not going to have him, you know, as good defence, you know what I mean? Like, the wealthiness of them. It is a tough one. Like I said, though, the age, that is the big concern. Do you reckon this is where the reveal's going to be?
I have decided to take a new wife, the Lady Alicent Hightower, before spring's end.
My house is Valerian, the greatest power in the realm.
And I am your king, Rhaenyra.
I can understand why she's crying as well. Best mates become your stepmom.
For centuries, my house had to scratch out an existence from the sea. When I ascended the Driftwood throne, I knew what I wanted. We're both men who have had to cut our own way through the world.
Did you call me to Driftmark to remind me of my low standing? Look.
You've heard of the troubles in the Stepstones?
Some Mirish prince is feeding Westerosi sailors to the crabs.
And the king's failures have allowed him to accumulate strength. Waiting in the Stepstones is a chance for you to prove your worth. Our worth is not given, it must be made.
That was interesting. I ain't surprised that he's gone to him, to be honest, you know. Last episode, when obviously Daemon went in and he terrorised a few of the people. Well, not a few of the people, mate. You know, he cut some guys' nuts off, it looked like. Chopped someone's head off, cut a few arms off. He was making a statement, wasn't he? And then obviously he ended up getting dragged into the high table, or whatever you'd call it, sit down. And Otto was moaning, you know, like, we need to do some punishment on him. We can't be doing stuff like this. And then that guy, yeah, the Valerian or whatever he's called, stood up for Daemon and said, look, mate, you know, we put him as protector and he's just enforcing the law. And he said, thank you. Yeah, he literally did say thank you for supporting me. Do you know what I mean? It seems like everybody's not a big fan of Daemon. I actually think that he's got a lot of respect for his niece, and I think she actually has a lot of respect for her uncle. Now, I know that obviously he done something bad today, and he took the egg from obviously her brother's what is it, caught or whatever, so I don't even know where he actually stole it from, but her brother's anyway, he took it. Now, I knew that as soon as she come on the dragon and walked up to him, that there was going to be no fighting, and there was going to be, obviously, no, you know, like, no repercussions for her being there. Now, obviously, if it was just Otto on his own, I do think they would have fought. I do think they would have been casualties, and she even acknowledged that to her dad as well. When she come back and she sat down, she was like, look, mate, you know, I managed to get this egg with no bloodshed, and it was handed over. Don't think Otto could have done the same. Now, I think it's interesting as well that obviously, you know, he's gone to Dragonstone. That's where she has been given that palace, that kingdom, whatever you want to call it. But he's saying, well, it's yours until you come of age. Now, I'm not too sure when the coming of age is in this show, you know, in this time. They was trying to set him up with a 12-year-old, but she was saying that she wouldn't have to bear kids to him until she was 14, which I thought was just weird. Anyway, do you know what I mean? Both of them are way too young. Now, her mum, she tried to have a, like, I don't know, mate. She tried to have a bit of conflict and rattle Regina, didn't she, on the like balcony thing, and she ended up turning around and kind of dominating herself, in my personal opinion. She was saying that they've had the chance to get a woman who's been online for the throne, and they didn't take it. And she said, nah, they just didn't take you. They bent the knee to me, and I'm next in line. Do you know what I mean? Which I thought was a fantastic answer. So I think it's really, really exciting. Now, the king, his finger, it's all like literally all moldy and dying and whatever. So that's because he cut it on that chair, didn't it? Last episode, and we've obviously continued with that in this one. He's still got something going on in his back. God knows what's happening with that one, but he has chose his wife, and it is Otto's daughter, which I think is a better choice than the one, not business wise and like, you know, politically wise, but like just in general. Like, she's like older, looks more of a woman than the little kid, and I could get why obviously that guy's fuming and gone to Daemon, and I can understand why obviously her best mate's fuming as well. His daughter's devastated because, like I said, her best mate is going from a friend to her mum, which obviously in all the scenarios he's going to be well with. Okay, that's going to wrap up today's episode. Thanks so much for checking out the channel today. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. So we have jumped 6 months into the future since the last episode, since obviously the king has lost his wife and his son. You know, we are 6 months into the future, and Daemon has fled. He's took over Dragonstone. He's got an army with him, and you know, it looks like now at the very end he is gaining another ally. He's gaining some ships, and it looks like they're going after the crab master, or I can't remember what they said it is, but there's a person that's killing people, you know, from King's Landing, and he's feeding them to the crabs. Now they're saying, as he was saying to the king, yeah, when a storm's coming, you have 2 choices. You either go straight in and hit it head on, or you go around it. But what you don't do is you wait for them to come to you, because that's when the chaos and the trouble starts. And they are cutting a deal between them two that they're going to go cause some chaos, cause some trouble, and hopefully, you know, make an impact and show that they are not to be ones to be messed with. Now, it was interesting this episode because the king did have to choose a person that he was going to be married to. Now, as all king's duties do, they want to, you know, be wed. They want to have a king and a queen, and they want to have more people, as he was saying to his daughter, like, so that their family name, their heir to the thrones, their family, you know, line can be extended. Right now, there's only them 2 that can easily be taken down, and then boom, gone. And he needs to obviously secure that. Now, he's offered somebody, and to me, she was way too young, and it was his cousin's kid, which for a business and political choice, it probably was correct, as a guy around the table was saying. He was saying, look, mate, I know she's young, but this is a wealthy family, the wealthiest in the land. They've also got all of these ships, and, you know, if something negative happens, something bad happens, then something could go against us. We could lose them. You don't want to be making an enemy, and you wanted to be making an ally, pretty much. But you don't want to be dictated like that. You know, he's the king, he's the person in charge, it's his choice, and he's decided to go with Alicent. Now, very interesting. You know, I'm not a big fan of Otto, to be honest. I wouldn't mind if he went over to try and challenge Daemon on that bridge and get killed. But what he wanted has happened. You know, last episode we seen it. His intentions was to send his daughter in to consult the king and to build a relationship. And it seems to have worked. It seems like they're getting closer and closer, and they're getting friendlier. Nothing sexual, nothing contacting, but more like on an emotional level. They can talk to each other, they can bounce off her. And then when obviously push comes to shove and he's had to make this choice, he's chose her. Now you can see that his daughter's kind of upset with it, and obviously she's left. And obviously the guy at the end of the table, he's fuming and he's fled to Daemon, which again is no surprise to me. He was saying that both of them are the second sons. You know, they are the people that have to fight for their reputation, to fight for their power. It's not just given to them. They're not the person in command. He was saying that he's built his family up from the ground pretty much. They had to go and scrape in the seas, and you know what, they've got to take charge, and he's offered his alliance. And I think it's going to be really interesting, because yes, if Daemon does want to take, you know, the throne, then he's going to have to, well, kill his brother, but then the next in line is his niece, and he's got to take her out. But I feel like they've got mutual respect between them. I liked their encounter in the first episode when she went in She's like, what are you doing in my father's chair? He's like, you're having a bit of banter. You come down. He give her a necklace. He's like, now you've got one and I've got one. Bit of our family heritage. Obviously, as the episodes went on, I thought like their obviously like connections between each other was pretty decent. And then obviously today as well, I knew that as soon as she come in with the dragon, which looks sick, mate. She was going through the clouds. You could see it rippling across. His come on sat on the hill and it was looking down upon them. As soon as those swords was wheeled against him, you could see that obviously like it was there to protect him. I like how it's red. It's different colours to the ones that we usually see. Candlelight a bit darker, do you know what I mean? Looks like, I don't know, signifies a more evil type of person. She's come flying through, Dragon Rider, which I think is a great name. And obviously she's sat down, she's come off it, she's got the egg, he's gone. He's left them without you know, any casualties, and she's successfully returned. So can't wait to see, obviously, the more stories as they go along, because I think that obviously the king's nephew, the king's cousin, her aunt or whatever you call it, is going to be pretty annoying. And I don't know if she likes Daemon or not, but I feel like she wants to be in that position of power. She can't, you know, she can't get over the fact that it was passed upon her to be obviously on the Iron Throne years back, in it, when obviously it went to him, to the king currently. And like I said, the conversation with his daughter on the bridge, she was well salted. That's why she wanted to offer up her daughter to the king so that they could have their family still in line and they can carry on obviously the like wealth and power, so to speak. But obviously it's not happened, and now they've got to pick the next choice, the next person that they think is going to be beneficial for them, and they've chose Daemon, so it's going to be exciting to see. So that's checking out today's episode. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please smash it like, it really helps out. Subscribe if you're new, and as always, I'll catch you in the next one. Cheers, guys.